Okay, good evening to everyone who's joined us. This is the March meeting for the Woodside Fire Protection District. And we've got our usual agenda. Before we get started on the agenda, as always, I will ask if there's any public comment. If anyone from the public has comment, wishes to make a comment on a topic that is not on the agenda, please wave your arms or make yourself known. Seeing none, I'm going to move forward. And we are going to move forward with approving a consent agenda. I will ask if anyone has any public comment on the consent agenda, but I suspect not since we have no members of the public, but I'll pause. If not, I would consider a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would propose a motion that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I will second it since there are no others. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are approved on the consent agenda. These next items are going to be regular meeting items. We're going to first talk about Resolution 2601, which is changing the time of our meeting, a very weighty topic. So I realize we should give it its full discussion time. Are there any members of the public who wish to make a comment about this item R1? I am hearing none. I will just summarize and say that I think the idea was that this would hopefully help the team get home to their families a bit earlier. The board was pretty agnostic about all this, so we're not pushing you to go do that.
No.
The idea was that people could get the heck out of here and
Yeah, I think
Just
just a
kind
little
of
better from
dead
time
time
management,
waiting.
so yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's fine with me. No issues. I don't think we have any topics, so if you want to make a motion, Randy, we can move.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2601. Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Woodside Fire Protection District, amending Board of Directors rules or procedures, changing the start time of regular meetings from 7 PM to 6 PM to be held on the last Tuesday of the month at this location, 808 Portola Road, Portola Valley, California.
I will second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The resolution is unanimously approved. We will sign it. And while we do that, Chief Zabala can briefly summarize point R2. I'll do it properly. R2 is a discussion topic to approve and authorize the chief to sign an extension of our lease in this building, which we've had for many years. Is there any member of the public who would wish to make a comment on this topic? I do not think so. So maybe you just want to give a quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had multiple lease options here at 808. Our lease is currently set to be up April 30th of this year. I was reached out to by the property owner discussing the option of extending another amendment to our lease. We did take some look at some different properties as well, just to assess fair market value, see if our needs would be met here, etc. We found that this was going to be a good spot for us to stay for the next term. So there was some back and forth, obviously, discussions and negotiations with the property owner and the district. And we found that we've met some favorable terms. And so we are happy with that and looking for to move forward with signing a 5-year lease extension. So
Very great. Did you have any questions, Randy?
No, that's great.
I'm too involved in this one, so I'm very comfortable moving ahead. But glad you had the experience of shopping for real estate.
Yes, yeah.
That was
Nice.
down the
It was
price we
nice.
couldn't have in their offer.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was a cool space.
It was a good space, yes.
Maybe next time. Or maybe next time we'll have an admin building.
That,
Who knows?
yeah, that's the great.
All right, then, would you like to propose a motion, sir?
Sure, I propose a motion to adopt R2 or approve R2, approve and authorize Fire Chief Eric Zabala to sign a second amendment to the lease agreement between the Douglas Family Trust and Woodside Fire Protection District for the current administrative building at 808 Portola Road, Portola Valley, California.
I will second that. And all in favor? Aye. There's no actual resolution, but go forth and,
Okay,
or since our lease ends like tomorrow
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so I will,
It was in April 30th.
April
Plenty of
30th.
time.
I've been in contact. I will sign that tomorrow and get that taken care of.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, so we'll be extended.
We'll start earlier next time, so it's a little less stressful for you and the Douglases.
I think it was good overall, though, good overall experience to make those conversations happen and
It's part of business.
Exactly.
And your landlord's never gonna offer concessions, it turns out, on pricing.
Nope.
Alrighty, that brings us to staff reports. I want to thank everyone for the effort they put into the staff reports, and I do learn something every time I read them. I was impressed with the test scores in the training report. Those are some impressive new folks that have been through. I enjoyed the second EMS story with the tacky guy that showed up with at the station, I guess, and got his arrhythmia dealt with. Right in there. It's incredible.
Doctors did an incredible job.
This is not something that
Yeah.
didn't happen 20, I don't know, you guys were telling me 10, 20
Yeah.
years ago, like that. He was stabilized. I mean, it was still tacky, I get it, but
And the rapid recognition
Crazy.
and proper treatment just that quickly is it's incredible. Really proud of those guys. So they did a great job.
well, it's nice that that you took the time to write up the story in there too, because it does help us all see the real impact. On the prevention side, I guess the online system to request inspections is working, because at a random party in town over the weekend, two different people told me they had their inspections, and I got a little worried. But they were both actually okay with it, including the host of the party, which is that big property on Portola Road on this side, like 1640, the horsey, the big horse arena. Really nice people, but they said that they were pleasantly surprised. They were asked to trim a tree that he knew should have been trimmed anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't get scared stories, so I'm glad that system is beginning to work. And maybe we can shoot through the backlog faster that way as people at least volunteer. So that was cool to see.
Absolutely.
Always excited to see the pictures of the engines. Bummed to see one of our engines has been in the shop, but that's not surprising.
Yeah.
And very pleased to see we're selling off all the excess inventory. So
We're trying.
Randy and I can
Yeah,
park and not
absolutely.
take them all anymore.
Yep.
No, that's cool. Want to see if any of your kids or relatives are gonna buy the surplus vehicles.
No, I
Drive
don't
around.
think we did on this last one. No, we had Fred.
One individual from Arizona and
Yeah.
then the guy from Central Valley bought two.
Really? Yeah, I
And we
mean,
have our old reserve engine out there for auction.
I saw that, I was sort of, I mean, given the problems nationwide of obtaining any engines, I was sort of curious whether the market, not that I care about how much money we're gonna,
Yeah.
it's like, is that an active market that people are looking for used engines, or is everyone's gotta be a little afraid of an engine,
There-
200,000 miles an hour?
The volunteer market is there.
Yeah.
They just don't have the funding, and the used fire engines are like a used tractor on a ranch. It's been
Ridden
put
hard,
through its
put away
paces.
wet, yeah, like mine. And leaking usually in my case. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Then I get a new one is, 3 years and $1 million,
Yeah.
so limited options. And finally, on the facilities and IT, I was amused to see that you guys had to put a T-Mobile booster in here, when at the other station, we have like the best T-Mobile reception in a tri-state area.
The trees.
That's
The trees.
what I kept saying that, like, I
Yeah.
don't get why you guys all have T-Mobile, and every time my kid comes here, he tells me it's like being a third world country, but.
We're gonna try to just cut a strip straight down to.
Yeah, maybe you can just prune
Yeah,
everything.
we'll just prune everything.
So I'm glad you're actually online with
Yeah.
that. But thank you for all the effort into the staff reports. So that would bring us to fire chief's report.
Absolutely. All right, a few district updates. We're pleased to announce that we have filled our finance technician 1 position.
Oh, wow.
So Grace Chow, who was working with us part-time doing accounts receivable and payable, she had applied and was hired for the position. She started full-time with us on March 2nd. She's doing a great job. We're really happy to have her here, and she's progressing nicely. I think that she's really, she's been doing well with working under Tracy and learning a lot of new responsibilities, and she's doing great. So we're happy to have her here. Woodside Fire has just hosted a large-scale CERT drill at Fire Station 7 this last weekend. I'm sure, I don't know if you drove by, but you saw it. It was a large drill. Topics included fire suppression, search and rescue, medical care, cribbing, and heavy lifting. It was very well attended. It had 30 participants as well as volunteer victims from the Young Men's Service League. So they were there dressed up as victims in moulage and all that good stuff. So it was scenario-based training that puts members in different roles and situations, and it was very well received. So yeah, a lot of good feedback from that. I've been told, and I'm holding my breath and knocking on wood, that our Type 3 fire engine is set to ship this week. We are excited to receive the apparatus and begin the process of outfitting it, obviously with the equipment and the necessary training to get it out in the field and start operations.
How do we figure out which roads it fits on by just trying to jam it into all the, everything in Edgewood Park?
We find the ones that the big fire engines can't, and then.
Try it Wonderlight.
Yeah, exactly.
I got some
Exactly.
trails for you to try.
Uh,
Razorback up in Alpine.
We did, actually, fire season is already here. Woodside Fire crews assisted with the second alarm vegetation fire, that was on the border of our district in SRA land. This was on March 24th. It was started initially by a vehicle accident, went into the eucalyptus trees and then started a fire. It was about the original fire was about half an acre with two small additional spot fires that jumped the freeway actually, and started just two small spots. But our crews did a phenomenal job. All the crews there for all the agencies that were involved did a great job. So we contained that fire and no injuries.
There's a lot of injuries I saw now.
Yeah, there was, yeah. So, and it was very, it had a lot of eerie similarities to the
Other one.
Edgewood fire that we had.
Why do they always find eucalyptus?
Yeah, and it's just right there, and it seems to be the practice of jumping the freeway is becoming more common.
Yeah,
That's
So
weird.
that's kind of a unique thing, so that eucalyptus can put off a lot of problems.
I guess they cat splitter all over the
Yeah.
place, which creates kind of a trail.
Yep, so it's
It looked pretty intense.
It did, actually.
it started going, it was going pretty well,
Yeah,
so yeah.
pictures on next door. and it
Yeah,
just kind of-
absolutely. Yeah, so we're fortunate that everybody did a great job on that. And finally, firefighter paramedic Amanda Dale was recognized by the Peninsula Council of Lions Club on March 27th for her outstanding service on a medical aid that she was participating in last year. This involved her performance and professionalism on a sudden cardiac arrest in which the efforts resulted in a very positive outcome for the patient. So she
Excellent.
was recognized and she'll be receiving that. We're going to be presenting her that award. She wasn't able to be there.
All right.
So we'll be presenting her that award coming up in the next week or so. Other than that, no deployments. We did host on March 19th, the new San Mateo Sheriff, County Sheriff Ken Binder. This was a meet and greet event for members of the public. We hosted it at Station 7. Supervisor Ray Mueller was in attendance as well. Small turnout, but it was a great event where people got the chance to come and say hello and meet the new sheriff. So that's it. In terms of the chief's notes, that's
I
it.
hope he has better time than the last sheriff.
I think that they're looking forward to that as well.
We had a long history of long-lived sheriffs here.
Yeah. He seems like a very nice guy, so it's nice to meet him.
Alrighty, do we have any written communication?
We do not.
And does anyone have requests for future agendas? Seems like we have a few already booked already on financial topics.
Yep.
We all have homework, so I'll leave that one. If so, then the next section is going to be a closed session. To do that, we will be adjourning the public session and going into a closed session. I'll introduce the topic in a moment. When we're done, we will rejoin the public session, and if there are reportable items, we will report them at that time. This closed session labeled CS1 is for a conference with labor negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6 with agency designated representatives Matt Miller, Fire Chief Eric Zavala, and Deputy Chief Vince Nannini. The employee organization involved is San Mateo County Firefighters, IAFF Local 2400, District 9. And I will ask if any member of the public has any comment on this topic that you wouldn't even know what it is. And I see none. So with that, we are going to thank you all for your attendance. We will come back into the public session when we are done, and we will report any appropriate items that we have concluded in that session. Thank you all very much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Right.
Have a good night. Thanks, guys. Right, you guys.